So first you just start off with a steel 16-inch wheel. You get the adapter that fits it. The way I like to do it, spring on the hub first, and your adapter. Bring your wheel up and over. So your calibration wheel doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. What you're just going to do on the machine is get it to read under 0.2 of an ounce. First step is you get your arm. It's called your A&D arm. And you're going to hold it over to your clip 1 location. Clip 1 is up against the wheel. You'll hear the machine beeping at you. Then it's going to say W and then a general measurement. I know that my wheel is 7.5. What you do to measure that is you get your thing right here and you measure it out. It's actually measuring 7. So you go back to your width, 7. It already got your A measurement, it got your diameter measurement, and you just inputted your width.
And you acquired that. You acquired the A and D by using this.
Yes, just by using the arm. Yeah. So now all your measurements are set, and you're good to spin the wheel. So now it's going to ask me for half an ounce and half an ounce. Got my 2 halves here. The lines will move based on the positioning of the wheel. It'll start to blink whenever you have it at the right position. You're going to want to put it at the 12 o'clock location. On the inside plane you'll have a nice red line here to reference on. You put it right above that line. Then you're going to spin the wheel and do the same on the other side by looking at the other light. After those weights are on, spin the wheel one more time, you get a 0 reading. The static reading is the up and down vibration. Dynamic is going to be your 2 readings on the outside. That's your side-to-side vibration. You generally want under 0.25 of an ounce, and that'll give you the smoothest ride down the road. So now that it's all zeroed out and you have under 0.25 of an ounce, you can go ahead and calibrate it. So you have a nice little button here that says Cal. You're just going to hold that button down until it beeps and it says Cal 0. First things first, you're going to enter your diameter, which is 16. Function to enter the input that you just put in there. Now it's ready to go. So you lower the hood, hit start, and this is just your baseline reading before you start the actual calibration. Change to Cal 4. So that means you get your blue 4-ounce calibration weight. You're going to start on the outside plane. And you're going to attach the weight where it's blinking, right at the 12 o'clock position. Hit start again. So what you're doing is you're telling the machine where 4 ounces of weight are and what 4 ounces of weight is. So the machine knows what position that is, and you're telling it that's where 4 ounces is, and that's how much that weighs. So that calibrates one side of the sensors. Move the weight directly across the other plane. Unfortunately, this is one thing that does happen often whenever you're going through a calibration process.
Top of the other weight.
Yeah. Look at this. You get the weight right on top of there. So what you do to remedy that, unfortunately, you have to exit out of the whole thing. You see how these two have to exit right there. You exit. You're gonna loosen the wheel. Grab the spindle, and then just rotate the spindle. What you're doing is you're just clocking it off that axis.
About a quarter of a turn.
Yes. What that'll do is it'll just reposition it. So then you go right back into your calibration process.
So I do. Calibration and
The machine does everything it can to try and walk you through the process. So if you can read some of the hieroglyphs that it gives sometimes, you can tell what to do. After the second spin, it'll say end, no one, which is no errors, and then it should cycle to end. And after that, you hit your exit again, which is your function, and your up arrow. Then you can take your calibration weight off. What you do to check the calibration after you're done is you can just spin the wheel, then put your calibration weight anywhere. Whenever you actually do your measurement and you spin the wheel, it should ask for 4 ounces of weight, counterbalancing itself. If it asks for any amount of weight extra, then the calibration is slightly off. So see, it's asking for 4 ounces of weight, asking me to put it at the 12 o'clock position, opposite of the 4 ounce weight. So that's how you know that the machine is perfectly on calibration.
How frequently should these be recalibrated?
That's a good question. Typically, I'd say every time there's a bad storm, any sort of power surges that happen, like lightning storms, that really does affect the calibration and everything that's stored on them. But most of the time, you shouldn't have to calibrate them for months. I mean,
If we move the machine, relocate it, should it be recalibrated?
It just depends on how much it's actually jostled around. I mean, if it's drug and there's a lot of vibration put into the machine, I'd say it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and put a calibration into it. Okay. And it also doesn't hurt to just practice it. I mean, just to keep your mind fresh on how to do it and how to operate it, because it is very easy for things like this to slip your mind. I mean, having the video will help, but just to keep your practice up.
Yeah. Does it have to be a 16-inch wheel?
Yes, it has to be a 16-inch steel wheel.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what size tire is on it. It does have to have air in it. It can't be uninflated, but it has to be a 16-inch steel wheel.